It is the very last European series we're going to be seeing today before heading over to North America. It's Skill-Capped EU facing off against Cowana Gaming.
What? Interesting. I mean, this is really interesting. Asgrath's going to be playing his Restoration Druid, Froffsy on the Shadow Priest, and Maro on the Frost Mage. I feel like the most surprising thing here isn't the Frost Mage, it's actually Cowana Gaming playing the Assassination Rogue Retribution Paladin. And we've seen Cara, I believe, play this composition in the past. Cara taking a huge hit of damage early on. Big Comet Storm coming in from Maro. Absolute devastation. Double Ring of Frost going to be slowing down this initial pressure over onto Froffsy, but interesting blind pick compositions from both these teams.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen Tana play a Disc Priest, so it's going to be very interesting to see what this guy is able to do on that class. And so far, I gotta say, it's advantage for Skill-Capped here. This is the first time we're going to see that tree or shat tree they call it, this comp, shatter with a tree of life. And we're going to see Cara here taking a lot of damage here. The Frost Mage as well making its debut here for Maro, doing a decent amount of damage here, playing that big build with the Ice Form. Ice Form recently had some changes, putting it off global cooldown, so a lot of mages opting for that Ice Form with the Rune of Power, and then it places that Rune of Power automatically. And then, of course, you also combo that with the Thermal Void, which extends your Ice Form. You can see Maro here already having that Ice Form basically back off cooldown. It's been doing a great job for him so far. He's got the Frozen Orb as well, dropping it at the pillar, trying to force Cara back out in the open. And once again here, for Skill-Capped, they can win the game by swapping to Tana or by taking down one of these DPS. But, Froffsy has to use the dispersion right there. And I mean, I was just about to say, for Cowana Gaming, the objective is clear. Kill Froffsy through everything. You have an Asaro, you have a Ret Paladin, do overwhelming amount of damage and take him down. And if they can do that, that's going to be good for them. But right now, it's going to be Cara in trouble here, Sid.
Yeah, nice crowd control here by Skill-Capped. And Cowana Gaming are a lot like Reload Esports. They were a team that needs an answer for Shadow Priest Mage. And unlike Reload Esports, they don't have that Shadow Priest Warrior as an option. So what they've brought is Discipline Priest, Ret Paladin, and Assassination Rogue. And I don't think we've seen this comp at all in the AWC. They fished for this Ret Rogue, but it wasn't with a Priest Healer in the past. Bringing in the Priest Healer is a bit interesting. It gives them extra damage. That Dark Archangel adding to the big Venom hits from the Assassination Rogue and the Divine Tolls from the Ret Paladin could make the difference. However, the Priest is also going to run out of mana. So that's going to be the trade-off for Tana, switching from that Restoration Shaman. I think this might even be the first time we've seen Tana play something other than a Shaman. So getting out of his comfort zone against what, in my mind, is the best team at the moment in Europe, Skill-Capped. This is a very stressful situation to be in. Look at the pressure right now. Cara's down below half. Nixi's down below half. He's dying to cleave damage. Niksi has to use Cloak of Shadows. Cara has to use Divine Shield in the same push.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolute devastation. Maro with his Ice Form. These Frost Bolts are going to do a lot of damage, but throwing in the Polymorphs, just trying to keep Froffsy alive, kind of realizing if they can just avoid the one-shots from Niksi and Cara, they're more than likely going to win this game with crowd control and just overall pressure, but no! He gets absolutely destroyed. That damage was insane. The Dark Archangel, I don't even think was active at that moment, but Cowana Gaming with the surprise composition, the Assassination Rogue, Retribution Paladin. I don't think I've ever seen this played in Shadowlands so far, and I mean, I am very surprised they managed to pick up a win. I mean, obviously a little bit of a blunder there by Skill-Capped. It was a lot of damage, but they had a lot of defensive cooldowns to work with, and this really is the day of upsets.
Unbelievable. I really thought, okay, well, this is going to be Skill-Capped, just chilling in the driver's seats the whole game. But what an insane amount of damage there from Cowana Gaming. And I mean, a little bit of a blunder from Skill-Capped, but this is going to be in game number 1. And we saw this happen to Method. They had a bit of a defensive blunder in game number 1. All of a sudden, it opened them up to that 3-2 loss against Reload Esports. And Cowana Gaming, definitely a team that can take an advantage like this and run with it. And we're going to see exactly what happened here. So everything looked good here. Maro is going to do a big Frostbolt here onto Niksi right after that Cloak of Shadows. Almost taking him down right there. Still doing big damage there with that Ice Form. Froffsy here looking pretty good. Has to activate the Fade here to recover, which is pretty big. He has his Dispersion available here, and they're trying to get aggressive onto Niksi, who just used his Cloak of Shadows. Froffsy gonna just get absolutely obliterated there with the Dark Archangel and I guess a Divine Toll there that just triple connected. Yeah, Vendetta as well. I don't even. Did he actually get to do anything with that Vendetta? I feel like that was mostly the ret, though.
I think he Vendetta and Venomed is what happened with the Dark Archangel, with the Divine Toll, and it was just Froffsy died really fast. I mean, looking back at that, that was kind of nuts. What a swing of momentum, though. I mean, just 15 seconds before, it was Cloak of Shadows and Divine Shield that were forced out. I feel like if they could have just held on a little bit longer. But I mean, to Cowana Gaming, I mean that was a beautiful kind of 3-2-1 setup. They were obviously all on point with when they wanted to burst, because all that damage went out at the exact same time.
It feels like it's a full moon or something with all of these like upsets happening. This is very different. Sorry, I cut you off though, Ben. Go ahead.
There you go, looking around. I mean, if it is a full moon right now, I would say that we're witnessing some werewolves coming in from Cowana Gaming with this assassination rogue and that rep paladin. I mean, that's what can happen. I mean, if you're skill capped, the way you play this matchup is you put out your pressure, you get your crowd control, and then you have to survive that one shot. And if you're not prepared for it, you can get dropped like that. So I'm actually curious to see if they do switch it up. If they do like the Frost Mage, Resto Druid, Shadow Priest, were they expecting this composition? Definitely a lot of different answers for me. I kind of expected Cowana Gaming to lock in the Warrior Retribution Paladin, but they had different plans for us.
Yeah, they most certainly did, and it worked out for them in game number 1. Sorry, go ahead, Zico.
I was just going to ask, Maro was actually playing Incanter's Flow instead of Rune of Power. I feel like that's a big mistake. I feel like you go Rune of Power, you have the short ice form, you're going to have runes dropping all over the map, but he is moving around a lot in the matchup. But I feel like counter pressure is like one of his most important jobs in this matchup when he's the free target. So I don't know, I kind of want to see him swap over to Rune of Power. Yeah, what does the rest of the panel think about that? Ben?
Well, I mean, it is good. I mean, well, the nice thing about it is, I mean, Maro, he's still playing Night Fae, and he is playing the Conduit Discipline of the Grove. So basically, with his conduits, with Icy Propulsion and his talents, Thermal Void, he can have those ice forms up a huge amount of the game. I mean, if Tana's not able to dispel them, it could literally have almost 100% uptime. So I don't mind I think he should be playing Rune of Power. It is kind of annoying as a Frost Mage, especially if you're going to be running around trying to go for crowd control the whole game. On that same token, though, Maro, if he's looking for that massive burst, that damage that he needs to kind of drop someone, I feel like it could be advantageous. But we'll see if he decides to make that adaptation. It's just with the ice form change, being off global, and every time you use your offensive cooldown as a mage, you get a free Rune of Power if you're spec'd into it. And just you get a lot of value there, and it can be really devastating. I mean, you can get Frostbolts up to like 12,000 damage, which can be a lot of unexpected burst. Cowana Gaming, I actually can't believe it. They're going to be locking it again. And Maro looks stressed out. I'm so I can't believe it. Cowana Gaming is playing Ret Rogue, Discipline Priest. And skill cap they're panicking. They don't know what to do right now. I think that matchup they had isn't too bad, but I guess they're very afraid of just getting one shot.
They would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Huh, guys?
I guess so. Wait a minute, why doesn't Blizo just play?
Warrior into this?
Yeah, why didn't they just play Warrior Mage Druid? I feel like that would destroy them. Okay. I feel like
Warrior into Asa. I kind of think the Warrior would die. I kind of think if they can bait.
The thing is, like, I would normally be a little bit afraid for Warrior, but if you're playing with a Frost Mage and a Restoration Druid, you have so much control of the match. I mean, Cara is not going to be able to play his characters. Everyone's going to be snared. You can dispel the freedom on Niksi. Like, I feel like that would be a pretty good answer into what Cowana Gaming is running right now.
I think this is smarter. Just bring the Paladin, bring the immunities to those big cooldowns, bring the stun. Like, Hammer Justice is way better, I think, than anything the Druid brings in terms of stuns. And just play a standard game. 3, 2, 1, stun healer, silence red, sheep rogue, set up crowd control, and play a standard game. Whereas that last game, they were kind of doing like a dampening wizard play, which I don't think is necessary against a Disc Priest, especially a comp like this. Just set up triple crowd control and play a standard Shadow Priest Mage game. I feel like they'll be able to win doing that.
Who do you think wins this matchup then, Sid?
I think if SkillCap play well, they should. There's no reason not to. There's very limited ways for the other team to stop their crowd control. There's no range to interrupt. If Maro gets on top or a mastery, bops for immunities to get sheeps, like I feel like Cowana Gaming should just flop against this.
Do you guys feel like, you know, despite game number 1, that this series still goes to SkillCap DU here, or what are we thinking?
Well, I think with the Frost Mage, you have a little bit more protection. I think the Fire Mage protection is that he does a lot of like super high damage, but I don't know. I think I actually kind of like the comp more with the Frost Mage over the Fire Mage, but I like the Paladin more than I like the Druid, because the Paladin just gives you an extra layer of cooldowns to work with. But yeah, I don't know. I think Frost Mage, Shadow Priest, Paladin actually would have been the optimal thing to pick here.
Okay, well, they could tie it up here. Game number 2, best of 5 series as well. Cowana Gaming winning that first matchup, though, bringing in the Scooby-Doo Cleave. Let's see if they can do it again here. 2 games in a row, potentially putting themselves on match point against the #1 seeded team right now, SkillCap EU.
Front row SkillCapped. Not expecting to go down in game number 1, although we weren't really expecting anything like what has happened today. So it's a day of upsets. Europe is just blown wide open. Cowana Gaming bring a surprise. I think with standard play that SkillCap should be able to turn this around, but it's still an insane amount of damage that this composition is packing. And they're going for it. They're stunning up Froffsy. Nixi's buying time for Cara to cross midfield. Tana steals Polymorph. Another advantage of running a Disciplined Priest, the Thought Steal on her talent. So Maro won't be able to sheep anyone on their cooldowns here. They're just counter-pressuring Cara with a silence. And doesn't look like it's enough. And now big hits are coming in onto Froffsy. Is he ready for the damage? Smoke Bomb gets dropped. They're really trying to scare Froffsy with the Smoke Bomb. It's a bait. They're not falling for the bait. They don't trade any cooldowns, and they've still got an answer to the Vendetta.
Yeah, full polymorph now on Tana. Mind games on Cara, but this preemptive powered barrier. What a scary moment. Potential Master Spell. No, a Kidney Shot shuts that down. Nicely done there by Niksi, but Cara now going to be very vulnerable without that Divine Shield. Pushes forward. Hammer of Justice on Asgrath. Beautiful Master Spell coming in from Froffsy. Frees him from crowd control. And it's all about that Vendetta. So Niksi, he actually uses the Vendetta. Tries to just one-shot. Was it a Blessing of Protection? No, a Sacrifice trade. You can see how much damage Asgrath is taking right now. What an insane build. He's still just outright dying. He's across the map. This redirected damage from Sacrifice is absolutely insane. And that is what we saw in game number 1. And we have to pay attention to that once again. I mean, Niksi on that Assassination Rogue with that cooldown can really get it done.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do... Ooh, Cara here in a lot of trouble. Chana's going to trinket out of that one here. Still has his pain suppression, still has a lot of work, or a lot of buttons to work with there in terms of cooldowns, but I really think what they're trying to set up here is just get Froffsy's dispersion with Cara's wings, and then one-shot him with the Vendetta, or get the dispersion with the Vendetta and then one-shot him with the wings. Big damage here onto Froffsy. What are they going to trade? Gets double fear. Nice polymorph there on to Tana. This is a situation where a Frost Mage would be absolutely insane. Slowing Cara there. He would never get back onto his target here, but Maro instead just going to control Cara here with some sheeps. And it looks like Niksi is going to be able to stay on his target. Cara is kind of scared here. He has his trinket, but he doesn't have his Divine Shield. Tana doesn't have his Divine Shield either. Asgraff sitting down for a drink, but could be scared to sit down for a drink. Niksi could try to Shadow Meld and sap him, or you could even distract him just to stop it. Asgraff is actually getting full mana here, and no pressure on the Froffsy or Maro. They're just kind of flailing, waving around that pillar there. So Asgraff is going to get a full mana reset. Now Niksi making it back to his target. Asgraff is going to have no problems healing this up. That Vendetta 25 seconds away for Niksi. It's going to be a big button. He has no Cloak of Shadows here. Needs to be extremely careful. The feint gets activated. Asgraff's pushing in here. Looking for the Hammer of Justice. Nixi's actually looking like one of those targets. And Cara's just playing super annoying right now. He's just staying at the pillar, knowing, okay, I'm going to be an exposed target. If I wait for my bubble, however, I can go for a big hit. already. Froffsy having his dispersion kind of stops them from wanting to push in, but Cara here forced to use his trinket. Niksi now under heavy fire, full sheep security here onto Tana. Nixi's going to shadow step defensively, but they did get Cara's trinket in that exchange. Now they have an opportunity to swap to Tana here, but Cara is there, should be able to keep him alive with one word of glory if he has to. And once again here, now Cowana Gaming looking to get aggressive. Yeah,
Vendetta's available. Smoke Bomb is up. See if they can pull the trigger on this. There's the Hammer of Justice. Mind Games bait. They got Thought Steal potentially. Froffsy's got control of the game though with the fear on Cara, Poly on Niksi. Tana just sprinting out in midfield. Maro blinks in on top of him, looking for Polymorph. Can Cara stop the Polymorph? He can't. Now that they've been isolated, Nixi's in trouble, caught in a Hammer of Justice. Can they power him down? Niksi actually kidney shot Froffsy right before this, and I'm wondering why Asgrath isn't running double bop. I would have thought that removing multiple Vendettas would be incredibly valuable here, so wondering what Honor Johns he's actually running instead of that. Still, Vendetta is available. When is Niksi going to pull the trigger on this with that Venthyr Covenant? He wants to pair it with Flagellation, and he's going to get a ton of procs doing massive damage. Froffsy avoiding the fight for now out midfield. Niksi is trying to sprint in. Shadow Step Kidney Shot. No Smoke Bomb just yet. Asgrath preemptively sacrificing, anticipating some damage there. Baiting the sacrifice outside of a normal threshold. Avenging Wrath proccing for Cara. Nixi's got Vendetta still. Big Divine Toll. Froffsy fades it. Trying to stay in the fight. Cara retreating back to the pillar and trying to help out Tana with the Mage Maro, but Combustion is up. Niksi has to trade Cloak of Shadows, and Niksi wants to stay on target. Go for a Vendetta play here in the soon future. If they interrupt Froffsy and go for Kidney Vendetta, I think that's it. But they're going for Kidney right now. No Vendetta. Asgrath just got big heals. Froffsy's not going to take any damage. Mana surprisingly even. I would have thought that with Drink, Skill Cap DU would have a massive lead in that regard, but actually pretty even. Double Psychic Scream, Counterspell on Tana. Good peel here by Skill Cap. Maro sets up for Polymorph. Isolating Cara. This is likely Divine Shield. They're going to pop Shield of Vengeance. They're trying to hold on to Divine Shield. Buying time. Polymorphs are still following through, but they proc a Wings. Asgrath is drinking. Niksi moves forward, trying to hit the drink with a distract around the corner, managing to hit it, and right back onto the Shadow Priest. Cara charges in. Avenging Wrath is up. Big Wake of Ashes. Ring of Frost connects. Tana dispels it instantly. Big Templar's Verdicts coming in onto Froffsy, trying to bait that dispersion prior to the Vendetta. And you can see that Cowana Gaming want to allocate that Vendetta when there is no more defense in their way, and that will be a guaranteed victory if they can manage to find it. But they're not baiting the cooldowns. Now Niksi is stunned up, trinketing to try and stay on target here and bait the dispersion from Froffsy, but Froffsy's just unwilling to give it. Now Cara stunned up, silence on Tana, Cara trinkets out. Froffsy has to disperse the Vendetta. He is immediately trading for that cooldown, but Vendetta is actually still rolling. How much damage can Niksi get out here with the remaining seconds of it? Avenging Wrath is up as well. Froffsy can't really escape. Asgrath doesn't have much throughput. Froffsy does manage to find an escape with that Ring of Frost. Double Psychic Scream, Door of Shadows. Now Cara is isolated, getting blasted by the Mind Games out in midfield. They drop a defensive Smoke Bomb, protecting Cara out in midfield, and now he's just pushing forward, trying to close the game out. They actually have a lot of defensive options, still Pain Suppression, still Barrier, whereas on the side of Skill Cap, they're actually looking desperate. Cowana Gaming might be able to take this if they make efficient trades.
Yeah, they certainly could. Things aren't looking too bad. Very unexpected. Your Retribution Paladin Rogue. Froffsy getting blasted once again. Asgrath, his mana not looking good. Cara's been able to hold on. Big damage coming in. Divine Toll hits Froffsy down to 50% health. At the same time, Cara forced into the Divine Shield off the back of a silence onto Tana. They're just opting to make the trade. Froffsy's still incredibly low. There's no dispersion. Crowd control on Asgrath. The full fear lands. He's got the trinket, sacrifice, and will trade to keep Froffsy alive. And now I'm a little bit worried here for Cara. Can he keep himself alive? Crowd control out onto Tana, actually just dispelling himself up. Maro going to be going for a Dragon's Breath Polymorph, and this is where things are really, really scary. Maro basically just has free reign for Dragon Breath Sheeps. There's no trinket on the side of Tana. Cara has no defense left whatsoever as well. The next crowd control setup that Skill Cap finds, I feel like it could be the end of the game here for Cowana Gaming if they're not careful.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. Maro, 22 seconds on his combustion. He just needs to get a couple of fireballs out, and then the next time they land a sheep, it's going to be GG. What is Niksi doing here? He's looking for something onto Asgard, which puts him in combat.
Dispersion!
The dispersion, though, outside of the Vendetta. This is going to be huge for both teams here. This next crowd control is going to be big. Maro's going to look for the polymorph. If he can land it, he has the combustion. He can take Cara down. But before that, Froffsy might go down. There's a full blind onto Asgard. Niksi gets polymorphed here. Niksi, if he pushes if he pulls the trigger on the Vendetta, There's no fade. There's nothing. They're going to have to use that Blessing of
Oh,
Protection
no.
immediately.
Oh.
But it's going to be Cara that gets swapped to full sheep, connects onto Tana, and Maro's going to pop that combustion and take the victory. But look at Niksi here. There it is. He was going for that big one-shot, but there it is. The Blessing of Protection, the absolute last bit of mana. And honestly, this game is not 100% over just yet. Not Tana is going to surrender there. But
Now it is.
Now it is, yeah. Still, that Red Rogue, even in a long game, actually looked pretty solid. Like on a small map, I could even see them winning in the same matchup.
Is it really worth bringing the Priest just for Dark Archangel? I really wonder. I mean, I guess I have the Offensive Dispel potentially for Combustion, but Shaman would do the same thing. I wonder if this would just be better on a small map if they blind lock Shaman. Or not if they blind lock Shaman, if they locked in Shaman against this particular matchup. I would be really curious to see it.
Yeah, potentially.
I actually wonder... In this final moment, you can see Froffsy was actually so close to going down with Asgrath having 0 mana. Blessing of Protection was the last line of defense, and right before the finish line, look at Tana. Tana has so many cooldowns, Pain Suppression, Barrier. I feel like he never pressed them the whole game, and then right here when he needed to, he still didn't press them. I think he was trying to drink. Cara goes too deep. Tana gets caught. Now he can't use anything. It was just getting punished on the map here. And a miscoordinated push there based on what defenses were available. And if they had actually managed to survive there, Pain Suppression Cara before he runs in, they could have taken that. So I'm not comfortable for skill capped, which is really weird because I'm not comfortable for Method EU now. I'm not comfortable for skill cap now. It seems like a lot has shifted overall in the meta. I didn't think I would see Ret Rogue Priest, let alone Ret Rogue Priest beating what I think most people are considering the best team right now, skill capped. So tied 1-1 on their map pick, which wasn't looking great. Now going into the side of Cowana Gaming, like you mentioned, bringing in a Restoration Shaman to guarantee they win the late game could be a good option, especially if it's a Paladin healer, hexing the Mage and just single targeting the Shadow Priest, throwing Lava Burst in. I don't see why it wouldn't be at least decent in terms of like in a small map attrition fight. So I would actually like to see them bring the Shaman as well.
Okay, well, we're going to find out shortly if they do end up doing that, if Subatiz is able to predict that once again. But, you know, tied up right now, and I feel like if this series keeps going in the pattern that it does, I mean, this could definitely be Cowana Gaming series, Sven. I mean, winning that first match was huge for them, and I feel like this could easily go towards Cowana.
Well, I mean, if before this series you asked me what wins Assassination Rogue, Ret, Kali, Priest against the Fire Mage, Shadow Priest, Paladin, I would say the Ret Rogue has no chance whatsoever. So I don't know if skill capped is just they're just warming up, so to speak, bringing in Maro and the Fire Mage. But I feel like Cowana Gaming definitely bringing in some surprises, and I do kind of worry. I mean, if Cowana Gaming, they lock in a small map, I think they're going to be looking to set up that Shaman. So yeah, some of the buffs to Assassination Rogue, obviously. What was that? What did we just see? Okay.
Wait, what? A warrior?
Why? Tana's on the Priest.
With a Priest?
I'm genuinely a little bit confused. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, you know what? Dark Archangel, Necrolord Warrior.
Yeah.
500 mastery buffed Ret Paladin with Dark Archangel, Divine Toll, just gone.
Triple kill.
Triple kill. Monster kill.
No, I mean, that really could be it. Is it just the Dark Archangel? Is that what they want, though? What
I
else
think the Priest, it's just extra damage. I mean, when I play my Priest and I play melee cleaves, I notice against mages, like, the extra damage. It matters a lot overall in the game. Also, you're more annoying to the mage. Deathing a poly and just getting the diminishing return out of the way, I think, is more value overall than the grounding wind shear, delaying it, and then still getting caught. The Priest could be a target, but I think with a Ret healing, I think it's unlikely. I don't mind the Priest. I think the Priest is okay in this matchup. And I think you can actually out-mana a Paladin, even without drinking now, too.
Do you actually get Blessing of Wisdom from Ret still, if you're a Priest?
No. The Blessing of Wisdom is gone.
Okay.
The blessings are gone in general, I think, right? Not for all. I think for all Paladins. So, but you can still out mana just because of the nerfs to it if you don't drink Priest is really efficient, especially if you play with a hybrid. The Ret Paladin is doing what would normally cost your mana, which is Radiance. Word of Glory just substitutes it for every time you would press Radiance, so you don't press it, and then you just heal through Trinity, and you don't spend mana. It's actually a very efficient healer now, and you just get the bonus of damage on top of it. So I actually don't mind this.
The Ret just becomes your Radiance.
Yeah. Radiance cosplay, just filling in. Just, hey, I need a Radiance, Cara. Do you got me? Yeah, I got you.
And Sid, when we were playing yesterday, I want to say, Sid, when we were playing yesterday, you were kind of singing a different tune about Discipline Priest going out of mana. Now you're saying they're efficient.
Well, that's because we're playing Boomkin stuff. I don't know, against Holy Paladin Shadow Priest on hook point. I don't know. I'd feel pretty good, I think, if I was healing a melee cleave on this map in this particular matchup, and I had a hybrid, especially if I had someone as experienced as Cara or Nerdrage. I feel like this will be a good matchup. They're gonna likely what's gonna happen. I'm envisioning is they're gonna thought steal the polymorph, Necrolord banner with Avenging Wrath, and then just Divine Toll one shot something with Dark Archangel. That's my prediction here.
I hope he is
Necrolord. I see it happening.
I hope he's Necrolord. I'll be so happy to see it.
I would like to see it.
Yeah, you are gonna like to see it. If we see the stars align and they have the bonus mastery with Dark Archangel, someone will get evaporated from the map. I mean, that's pretty much the scariest thing that can happen. And if they have that one-shot potential, they also have the ability to out-mana, like you're saying, Sid. I think the Thought Steal really is nice for those offensive pushes. When you have your wings up, you Thought Steal, all of a sudden Maro isn't comfortable. All you can really do is drop the Ring of Frost, and you can just dispel that. There's no follow-up polymorph. It's an opportunity. I mean, they have a strategy. They have a clear-cut win condition. But I would say typically this isn't a matchup you would really expect to win for Cowana Gaming. I feel like in the past, the Shadow Priest Mage Paladin would just kind of destroy this type of composition, but it seems like Cowana Gaming have figured it out. They can kind of go long, and these one-shot potential that they have, it's quite scary.
All right, well, we'll see if they can make
Necrolord.
this happen here. And yeah, there it is as well.
Yep. Are we ready? We got the Necrolord here on Nerdrage, which means Cara is going to be just the ultimate destroyer of dreams here. This guy is going to be doing so much damage when the Necro banner comes down, and he's going to have Dark Archangel as well to beef him up. Here we go. Here's
Here
the
it
wings.
is.
Here comes the damage. Where is the Dark Archangel? He's not playing Dark Archangel, actually. Tana is caught up in a Psychic Horror, so it's actually going to be Cara running for his life there, but that was the silence that trades for his offensive cooldowns. He gets caught up in a Hammer of Justice behind the pillar, forced to trinket that one. Maro there, popping his combustion there, trading it for the red trinket. A pretty decent trade for him, and there's still more damage coming here. Maro's still looking for more crowd control, lands the counterspell there onto Tana, but now it's going to be Froffsy here in trouble, but this time there's no wings on Cara, so that initial push completely just turned on his head, and now Tana once again in a full polymorph, which means Cara needs to get out of there. Nerdrage is going to take some of that extra damage there, but overall, I don't see Cowana Gaming having any pressure for the next minute or so.
Yeah, you're only going to be doing damage in that banner window, but as a Shadow Priest, you just Greater Fade. I'm immune. What's up? And now Cara actually has a Divine Shield. This is not looking good for Cowana Gaming on their map pick, and they can't really afford to throw their picks because skill caps are going to go to those big maps like Empyrean Domain, as well as Tolvaron. So this is a tough position to be as Cowana Gaming. Your most important defensive cooldown is out of the way. Only a minute and a half into the game. Your healer's in a polymorph. Your Ret's on the run, stunned up, trying to stabilize here behind the pillar. Oh, Shifting Power actually breaks the polymorph. Good positioning there from Cara, baiting Maro on top of Tana. Now Nerdrage is laying into Froffsy as they're trying to set up. Avatar is popped. When's he going to go for the banner? That green circle, when he pops it on the ground, it's going to sprint his whole team and amplify their mastery and enhance their damage. But Tana actually isn't even playing Dark Archangel. I thought the whole point of this was going to be layering those cooldowns on top of each other. Tana's actually playing a mana build, and they're winning on mana. So to actually say that they only need to win in that one-shot window actually is a mistake. If they can just win on mana, that's definitely a good condition. But now they're stun locked up in midfield. Huge damage. Tana stabilizing here with the Shield of Vengeance and a Penance from downtown. Maro feared up by Nerdrage. Here comes damage out between Nerdrage and Cara. Really laying in with that Wake of Ashes. Asgrath is spending a ton of mana to heal through this consistent pressure coming out from the side of Cowana Gaming. So long as they can keep uptime here and stay alive, I do think they'll win the attrition fight.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way.
Drink.
Just looking at the
The
mana
door.
bars. Asgrath right now is going for a drink. Can they keep him in combat? They do manage to. He didn't recover too much mana there. Nerdrage more than likely has that Necrolord banner available. And let's see when they decide to use it. Right now, Cara's not going to be feeling too safe. There's no trinket for Tana. And without that Divine Shield, he is very susceptible to being swapped to. So I feel like Cara kind of realizes the situations he's in trouble very often and is good at playing defensive when he needs to. And I think Cowana Gaming, that's what they need to focus on. Just allow Nerdrage to kind of go out into the open, get that pressure rolling. You can see that damage onto Froffsy right now. As long as they can deny the drinks, Nerdrage does that. Froffsy still under fire, taking quite a bit of damage. Cara, when is he going to pop all his offensive cooldowns? Big damage potential here. A Hammer of Justice comes out onto Cara, into a silence with the polymorph on Tana. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on. Potentially, the Guardian Legendary does proc. That gives him enough damage reduction to survive. Now Tana could make the trade with Pain Suppression. He's not trading. He's playing extremely greedy. Line of sight issues. Mar actually misses his Dragon's Breath. Tana doing a good job avoiding that one, and that will be the Rapture. A little bit of greed there from Cowana Gaming. Almost cost them the game.
Yeah, and Asgrath sitting up for a drink, but he gets stopped here. Things are looking good so far for Cowana Gaming here. They're checking off the boxes, but Cara taking a lot of damage here. If they have more CC here, this could be it. Cara is going to survive there, using the Shield of Vengeance, gets the Pain Suppression finally from Tana. Tana's going to have his trinket there, so that was one of the scariest moments in the game here. Now, Cara's going to have his Divine Shield, Tana's going to have his trinket, so Maro's next combustion is not really going to net them anything here. Let's see what that... Okay, well, it's going to net them a kill if they don't use any of the buttons they just got back, but Maro... He's like, he looks pretty surprised right now. He's like, what is this comp? How are they surviving for so long? How are they doing so much damage? You can tell this guy is definitely relieved. And this is a scary, scary opponent here in Cowana Gaming.
I think that's really funny. You take anyone from Cowana Gaming and they probably say the same thing. What is this comp? How are they not dying? How are they doing so much damage? Anyways, I thought that was funny. Victory for Skill Capped as they take map number 3. I like the Assassination Rogue. I want Niksi back in the game. I want to see it once again. I was a believer, even though
this is the first time I think ever you would be saying, I don't want to see the Warrior.
I don't know. I feel like though the wild card factor is like it's nice, right? Like bringing in something kind of out of left field that they're not really prepared for. It got them a game number 1 win. Maybe against the Paladin, it's just too unfavorable, but I think kind of mixing it up and throwing in some surprises could end up working. I still don't know entirely how much I like the Priest. Without the Dark Archangel, I still like the Shaman more, I think. I'm kind of surprised. Well, I guess they're not playing it because they've just lost this matchup so many times outright. So I guess this is the adaptation that they've made. Bring in the Discipline Priest. Can't really blame them. Just try to mix it up. Try something a little bit different, but it's at this point of the game where you are very afraid. I mean, Cara barely holds on. The Intervene comes in from Nerdrage, reducing a little bit of incoming damage on Cara. And this is where Cowana Gaming is basically just trying to survive the best they can. They've got about 15 seconds left on Divine Shield. Tana has got his trinket available as well, so a decent amount of defense available. But this next setup from Skill Cap ends up being pretty devastating. I mean, Maro's got the combustion. It's just a silence on Tana, and he ends up trinketing at the last second, but he's interrupted, so I don't think he's able to actually get out the Radiance, that emergency healing he needed, so the trinket was kind of for nothing. And at that point, Cara, I mean, he could have used a Divine Shield, but that could have just been a miscommunication where Tana said, hey, I'm going to trinket, you're fine, not realizing he was locked out, and they just couldn't get the healing out.
Okay, well, skill cap to you. Winning 2 games in a row here, so maybe they win 3 and finish out this series 3-1. Cowana Gaming still have a chance to turn this around, though, heading into this next game. Once again, it is going to be their map choice, but they weren't able to win that last game, so we'll have to see what they can do with this next game. But I am curious if you guys want to see them go back to that composition we saw in the blind lock, or do you think their better option would be playing that comp again?
I think the Necrolord didn't work. Losing out on Condemn and getting that consistent damage the whole time, you know, you're trading in a huge burst window, but a Shadow Priest just presses Greater Fate every 45 seconds and immunes all of it. So you're going to base all your entire comp around something that's countered by such an easy answer on the side of the Shadow Priest. I don't think that was worthwhile for them. If they do,
we were
play
so
Warrior
excited about it for a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just like it's the perfect
fade.
counter. It's the perfect counter. So I think it would be wise for them to just keep playing the Rogue for the rest of the series. I'm wondering maybe if they didn't want to blind lock it. Are they really afraid? Maybe they are afraid of a War. No, they can't be because they've already locked that in. It's the Rogue just looked better overall. I think that it's probably what they want to keep playing here with Black Rogue Hold locked in. I would be surprised to see a Necrolord Warrior again.
You know, even still though, you know, just with this match and the rest of the ones that we saw earlier today, I gotta say, like, I love the comps that we're seeing. It feels like a lot of diversity so far for today. It's been a lot of it's been really exciting. Look, they're gonna go back to that composition as well. So yeah, I feel like Zico today. It's been cool to see these guys, you know, shake things up and try something new like we're seeing right here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it. We've seen Ret Rogue, we've seen Shadow Priest Warlock, we've seen BM Hunter, just period. So yeah, there's been a decent amount of variety. There's been a lot of specs being showcased here, but I have to agree with the guys here as well in terms of this matchup. I wanted to see the Assassination Rogue again. I feel like it looked good. It gives them a solid threat as well when Asgraff is drinking. If you have a Rogue on your team and their healer's drinking, number one, you have an easy answer that Distract has a massive range. It's very easy to just throw a Distract around a pillar, especially on, you know, smaller maps, and just completely shut that drink down. Or you also, if the Rogue is in stealth, you have the threat of the sap, right? So a lot of healers don't even want to drop combat against the Rogue. Or if you have your Vanish ready as well, you don't want to really drop that combat because the Rogue is just going to vanish and sap you, get a free full CC, and they can, you know, accelerate and win the game off of it. So for Cowana Gaming, I like the Rogue. It shuts down that drink, which also helps them a little bit with their own win condition, which is to out mana. Because I think Skill Cap can shut down Tana kind of easy from drinking, but I don't think Cowana Gaming can like push in and run across and stop Asgaroth that easy. So having something like a Rogue that can just distract and you can just be a threat on its own, I think it's really nice for them.
Yeah, love what these guys are doing here on the side of Cowana Gaming. And, you know, they've got tomorrow, they've got Sunday Cowana Gaming, and then they've got 2 more cups after that right now. You know, they are placed fairly nicely in that top 4. And I wonder if this composition, if they can do well here against Skill Capped EU, I wonder if this is the composition, Supities, that's going to secure their spot in the top 4 with this region. How do you feel like this does against other teams?
Against other teams, I don't think that they necessarily need it. I think the Warrior will probably be more valuable in those matchups, but what they really needed was an answer for Shadow Priest Warrior. That seemed like Cowana Gaming, that seemed like Reload Esports, that was their kryptonite with Shadow Priest Mage. This is a comp that has won and looks like it has potential to win, so I think that they should stick to it in these matchups when they know they're getting a team like this that has that comp. And then just go back to their Ret Warrior when it's otherwise not needed. And then they've got an answer for everything, really. And they're using the entire breadth of their roster, too, which is awesome to see. A lot of teams, they've got a 4th player, but they can't really use them too much. So it's nice to see Niksi getting some use here in this matchup.
That food looks suspiciously fresh for having cobwebs on it, I'm not going to lie. But the gates will open. Yeah, Skill Cap right now is on match point. If they can win this one, they will be picking up another point in this round robin. Cowana Gaming, obviously, if they could beat Skill Cap, that would be massive. I don't think many teams are going to be able to really do so. And it will be an early dispersion coming in from Froffsy. This is the wings from Cara, getting really aggressive. Froffsy now with the mind games. Cara in some trouble. He's on the run. Combustion from Maro, really forcing Cowana Gaming to play defensive after that opener.
Yeah, this is the best opener we've seen so far for Cowana Gaming. Oh, careful, Cara. Okay, here comes the Vendetta potentially for Niksi. He's getting pre-polyed on it. Can he get something onto Asgaroth out of that Hammer of Justice? Cara is going to be the one in trouble here. Both teams playing very aggressively so far. Cara trading out the Divine Shield right there. He gets Master Spelled on it. He's line of sighting here. Spamming out the Flash of Lights here. gets Maro all over him, though behind here, he's going to be able to get a little bit of holy power there onto Maro, big word of glory, and now he's going to be able to make it back to his target. So the good news for Cowana Gaming is, well, they forced the dispersion and they have Vendetta. The bad news is they don't really have any cooldowns left on Cara. But here we go. There is the Hammer of Justice. Where's the Vendetta now from Niksi? This is his opportunity to go for it. Kidney Shot comes out. No Vendetta, though. Blessing of Protection actually onto Froffsy. So Niksi has a completely free Vendetta onto Asgard. What?
Sometimes
There it
Maro
is.
looks very troubled. He looks confused.
Mario's like, what the
scratch
heck
his
is
head.
this?
Oh no, Maro!
My heart.
Oh,
What was those
man.
crits?
Oh god! Oh
telling
my
you.
gosh!
That's why we want
Alright.
to see the Ret Rogue. Get the warrior
Yeah.
out of here. I don't want none of that. It's going to be Niksi coming in on that Rogue. That was a massive amount of damage. Vendetta is horrifying. I feel like Method, or sorry, not Method, Skill Capped right now, they're like, what in the world is going on? What is this damage? But Cowana Gaming, they came prepared. They bring on the Rogue. They have full faith in basically putting it in on match point, and they're able to secure a very nice win.
Yeah, so Niksi is actually playing Night Stalker. So Niksi has that extra 50% damage when he enters stealth. And I think he's playing, yeah, he's playing the 100% crit legendary as well. So I think what Nixi's doing here is he pops that Vendetta with 5 combo points, and then he vanishes and double envenoms with, I actually don't, I think he's playing 6 combo points as well. No, he's playing Mark for Death. So yeah, he doubled envenoms with that Mark for Death. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see here. So he goes after Froffsy. Froffsy gets bopped, then he swaps over here. And when does he actually pop the Vendetta? Right there, first Vendetta, first and Venom. Yeah, it's just over immediately. He just does one and Venom for like 20,000 with that combo, and it's always going to be a crit. It's always going to hit that hard. So the entire strategy for Cowana Gaming is basically run in, get dispersion by getting a sap on the healer, and just have your ret go in and pop his wings and press just his ret damage, and then save the Vendetta. And then the next time you get a Hammer of Justice or something on the healer, you can just do that. But this time around, they went after the actual healer, and Askarath obviously didn't see that coming and just got taken down before he could really activate any of his defensive cooldowns.
It's so funny because this is a build. There's a rogue in North America who plays this build basically exclusively. He every season just tries to one-shot with the assassination rogue, and it's so scary because you're just, is it coming? When is it coming? Is he going to use it? He still has it. What are we going to do? Okay, get ready. Here it comes. And then at any moment you can just get one shot like that. So skill cap, they're going to have to definitely play on their A game if they want to survive. They're going to be going to a good map though. EMPYREAN Domain. Definitely the map you want to be going to if you are going to be locking in that Shadow Priest, Mage Paladin. And I'm curious if they decide to bring in the Frost Mage once again of Maro. Obviously, the Fire Mage has worked out for them, but honestly, game number 1 looked really good. So they didn't get one shot. I feel like that was their most convincing game so far.
Okay. Let's see what Cowana Gaming does. See if they bring out Ret Rogue once again, or are they going to default back to that Warrior? Not exactly sure. What do you guys think would be the better matchup for them?
I would blind lock
Niksi
Ret
out.
Rogue.
Just
Niksi
every game.
Niksi every game.
This is the best
Wait
we've
for
seen
another
Cowana.
season.
You bring in a Warrior, you lose. And every single time they play against Skill Cap with their Warrior, they lose. This is the first time where they bring in Niksi on the Assassination Rogue, and it's looking really, really good. So I want them to just have faith in it, go for it in this final game. I hope they do, and Skill Cap, I wonder what they're going to come up with as an answer.
Yeah, I wonder as well. And, regardless of how this game goes, we know Skill Capped is a very, very good team. They've been, in that #1 spot for a long, long time. But it's Cowana Gaming. We know individually, half this team has won BlizzCon before, but it's been a while since they've been, at that very, very top position here. And it would be really cool to see them win this series. But even if they do lose here, I feel like this is going to look very good for them for the rest of the circuit. These guys are are looking so strong. This composition, we're seeing the top team struggle against here. So I feel like as a team, these guys are definitely coming together. And I'm just so excited to see how these guys can continue with their success that we've seen here in this series. So this next game, we're going to have to see if they can continue that here and potentially beat Skill-Capped EU. That would be absolutely huge for them. And even if they don't, play this composition, this is clearly a very good matchup for Skill-Capped. Cowana Gaming is looking very strong right now, and I feel like Zico, this is gonna be good for them for the next 2 cups. Either way.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, this is great that they're finally incorporating Niksi to their team. Sorry, I'm just looking at Nixi's build here, and there's one thing about his build that I don't like, and that's his Covenant. He's playing Ventir with Nadia as his soulbind, and I feel like it's not actually boosting his Envenom damage at all. I feel like you just go full out on the gimmick here. Maybe go Cowana with the Night Fae for the extra damage above 75% and just go for the clean 1-tap. I think that's one option. Or he could go for maybe Kyrian as well. I think Kyrian could actually be legit. Yeah?
Tubbins and Gubbins, wait for the umbrella and just go for it with your 500 master.
Tea time.
Yeah, I don't know about the tea time. But
tea time with Niksi. Sorry, go ahead, Zico.
So the thing that he does is he's playing with Night Stalker. So if he's in stealth, he does more damage. Then he's playing the legendary. If he is in stealth, he has 100% crit. Then he's playing Mark for Death, so he can stack 5 combo points, pop Vendetta, immediately Envenom, like immediately vanish and Venom, and then do it again. And he's also playing the conduit for Shiv. So he Shiv. He does it before he pops the double Envenom. He shivs the target, which makes them take extra nature damage with the conduit as well. So he basically is just stacking full damage from stealth and nature damage, and then he's just going for a double Envenom one shot. So that's every 2 minutes, Nix is going to be able to just completely solo somebody.
So I think what he did in the last game then is he's running Ventir, so he used Flagellation to bait the Paladin into thinking that that was the target he was going after, saved his Shiv, and then swapped to the Paladin, and then used the one-shot there. So if Asgrath can't figure that out, then swapping targets with this build could work out. And then if they don't respond, I think Flagellation is going to add so much excessive damage to that burst that you get erased 100-0. And the main advantage of this build for Niksi is that it might not be something that Skill-Capped have fought a lot against. Like when ROOK already pointed out, I feel like there's only one rogue in North America that always tries to play this assassination one-shot build. And they might not be ready for it. They can't really afford that now with only one more loss. If you're Method EU, I almost think it's a double-edged sword for Method EU, because you're thinking like, I want Cowana Gaming to win so Skill-Capped doesn't get that much more ahead. But at the same time, Cowana Gaming beats Skill-Capped, and then we have to play against them.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not. I wouldn't be comfortable if I was any team at this point now in the European circuit.
Yeah.
Every team is good. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Just
true.
looking at the roster of Europe right now, like some of these upsets that have come in. I mean, Integrity Damp doing incredibly well, Method EU not doing so well, and then there's all these like kind of in between teams where it just seems like any of them could win a series. So this is still so wide open. Yeah, I really can't call it. I really thought it was going to be seed number 1 Skill-Capped, seed number 2 Method, but that could just be completely wrong at this point.
No, you're definitely right. I mean, after the first weekend, I feel like those results that we saw in the top 4 were probably not how we would have originally predicted them, especially that 2-4 spot. And I after this series ends, we are going to update you guys and on where the European region currently stands. But we can take a look at Cowana Gaming's current compositions and the wins rates that they do have. We can see their most played comps as well. Win rate of 46%.
I'm just looking at Warrior, Death Knight, 0% win. Assassination, Ret, Shaman, 0% win. I mean, really, there's not that big of a sample size, but you can tell. I mean, 51 games played with the Warrior Retribution Paladin. Before this series, Niksi actually never won a game on their team, so that's why I want to see him come in. And so far, in this series alone, he's already improved his record you know, to almost even in terms of wins and losses. Whereas for skill capped, I mean, you can see they have so many different compositions. You know, they got the Ellie Mage, and don't really play that anymore, but they've been playing a lot of that Shadow Priest Mage, as well as, you know, the Warrior if they do have that available. So this team is really well rounded.
One interesting thing about skill capped is that they have 88% win rate since they added Froffsy, because they never played Shadow Priest Mage before Froffsy was on the team. So
true.
Since Froffsy joined, they're basically winning all the time.
They're always winning all the time, let's be honest.
They're always winning all the time.
Yeah, but it's their highest win ratio. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's higher than their early mage.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't expect that.
And you know, if you look at the average win rate for all the teams, a lot of the times it sits around like that 50 to 60% mark. So being, you know, above that is huge. You know, that's where we see skill cap. That's where, you know, we saw Cloud9 when they had that insane series in BFA. That's their win rate. So these guys, just based on numbers alone, are you know, clearly deserve to be here at this top spot. So yeah, shout out to production for these stats. They're definitely very cool to see. All right, well, it looks like we are going to be heading into that game. Thank you guys for being patient. We do allow these players to have those delays. They have a certain time that we do set aside for them if they want to take that. It was Cowana Gaming that used their full delay timer, and which is kind of a rare thing. You know, sometimes they use their delay timer, but they don't fully use it. They just need a couple seconds to gather themselves. But these guys are very clearly thinking very, very hard before they head into this game, so you know that they are feeling the pressure and they want to beat skill capped in this game. It's a number 5 game as well, tied up right now. Winner of this game wins this series. Could it be Cowana Gaming taking down skill capped?
I mean, that would be amazing. I also just want to, I feel like we haven't talked about it very much, but we need to give a huge shout out to Tana. I mean, I feel like this is the first time we've seen him not play Shaman, so he's bringing in the Discipline Priest. Oh, am I wrong?
No. I was just to build up on your point. Tana wasn't even a Shaman main before. He used to play a ret paladin, but obviously with Cara on the team, they were in a double ret situation, and he just became their Shaman healer. So this guy has definitely, he's been stepping up big time. So I just wanted to elaborate on your point.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely true. Right now, Cara, Niksi getting destroyed just a little bit, but that was a combustion. Let's see if Tana can bounce their health back up. Is he up to the challenge? That was a trinket of Cara. Big damage. The Rapture Shield should be more than enough, though, to keep his team nice and stable during this moment of pressure from skill capped. Niksi, of course, he still has the blind, he still has the vendetta, those major threats still available. Cara just trying to fish for as many defensive cooldowns as he can, but unfortunately for him, he is forced back to the pillar. Now coming out with that blind, Askrath will trade out his trinket, more than a fair trade. Maro immediately goes for the Dragon's Breath polymorph, manages to find it, and Cara forced to retreat once again.
Yep, Cara retreating here. But it's not the worst situation here. They're not going to have to trade any cooldowns. He was very, very early with that trade. And they didn't get the dispersion of Froffsy. So offensively here for Cowana Gaming, it's not looking great. They need to try to make something happen. They have the Vendetta. They have the Smoke Bomb. So they have their biggest tools in their pocket still. But they want to try to bait that dispersion from Froffsy and then go for the big Niksi one-shot. And if they can do that, it's just going to be game immediately here. It's very, very tricky for Froffsy. At any point, Niksi could just choose to do that. And here we go. Big damage, actually. A bit of a bait there, baiting the dispersion. Niksi actually didn't use the Vendetta. Maro, though, here comes the combustion. Big damage there onto Cara. Has to trade out his bubble there. So, Cara, no bubble. Niksi actually getting swapped. You might need to trade out his cloak. Tana catches him back up to full HP there with a nice Radiance. Now, this is the checkmate situation. No dispersion on Froffsy. No trinket on Askrath. All they need to do is get a Hammer of Justice and a Vendetta. There's the Hammer of Justice. They don't have an interrupt for the Master Spell, though. And Niksi didn't pull the trigger there on the Vendetta, so they're still going to have that in their back pocket. They need to make a decision on when to use it, though. 50 seconds left for the dispersion. Immediate trade there onto Askrath, though, with that Vendetta rolling onto Froffsy. Let's see if it's enough damage here to force out the Divine Shield.
The Vanish is already used. Cara's trying to come in for a big hit as well. They've almost out of mana. It's Askarov at this point. But here comes Stun Lock. Will Cara be able to stay alive? Tana gets Sanctuaried out, connecting a big heal onto Cara. Froffsy is still feeling the pain right now. If they can just stay on target here, trade out Barrier, trade out Pain Suppression, anticipate crowd control, I think they're going to be able to take this, but at the same time, there's no medallions right now. They drop a smoke bomb. Froffsy's going to Greater Fade and duck out of the smoke bomb. Tana is playing Night Fae Priest, blinking across the map so he doesn't get caught in crowd control, and also adding a bit of extra mana regeneration and damage reduction to the team. So some very interesting Covenant choices across the board in the tournament so far, and that definitely means Cowana Gaming want to win this on attrition, losing out on that Mind Games. But here comes the crowd control. If a Polymorph lands on Tana, that could be it for Cara on match point. Absolutely crushed. Skill Capped are going to take it 3-2.
Yeah, but I feel like even though Cowana Gaming, they lost this series, in a way they won. They brought in Tana on the Discipline Priest, they brought in Niksi on the Rogue.
They won. Okay.
I agree though.
Come on, we all expect
I get your point. No, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, it's a small
They lost,
victory.
but it's still a win.
It's a loss, but it's a small victory in the fact that they actually almost beat Skill Capped. I mean, that was the most we've seen Skill Capped sweat so far, I feel like, in this round robin. So definitely bringing the pressure, bringing in some new compositions, some new healers. I think that's a great start for them. But yeah, Skill Capped, they're looking really, really good. Bringing in that Shadow Priest, Mage Paladin once again. I mean, Zico called it out. They have over, what, an 85% win rate with this composition. So definitely looking good.
Yeah, and I mean, just like you mentioned, I think the real winner of this series is Cowana Gaming. I mean, it's Skill Capped. They won on the scoreboard, but Cowana Gaming won in our hearts.
Stop confusing the viewers.
I'm just trolling. Skill Capped definitely won, and they earned it. And I mean, here they got the offensive blessing of protection. They had the damage from that combustion. They had the sheep, no preemptive barrier or pain suppression or anything like that. So Cara is not going to survive there. But I really do believe that, though. This is just good research, and also this is good research for other people that are going to fight Skill Capped, right? If you have a rogue on your team, then you know, okay, well, maybe we'll run the Assassination Rogue, we'll run this build, maybe some other rogues who've just been playing sub only, without saying any names, maybe they're going to realize, hey, Assassination is pretty good here, maybe that's what we're going to want to run here moving forward. So I think it has repercussions in general on the rest of the tournament scene.